Kwasi here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about coronavirus and the pendulum that we subscribe to, and why even more than coronavirus, there's a bigger pendulum out there that's hijacking your consciousness, that's really preventing us from going towards the life that we actually want to go to, but is keeping us unconsciously at bay, kind of like holding us by the tail, the invisible tail that we have. By the end of this video, you're going to learn the 3 keys that's going to help you break free from these pendulums, and what even a pendulum means and how it's unconsciously hurting you. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that a few spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me for the Reality Mastery Program. Make sure you wait around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up. So with that, let's get started. So in this video, I want to talk to you about coronavirus and this huge pendulum that's going around and why it's really stupid. So why I say that is because there is sickness that's manufactured in the body and a virus that's affecting you versus like the widest spread virus, which happens here, right? The biggest sickness that's happening here is in the mind right now with this mass hysteria. And like most people, what happens is we subscribe to ideologies and as a result get programmed. Because we're unconscious, we never have a say about whether or not we accept these programs. And that's why they influence us. When you fall asleep and you become a zombie in daily living, anything that goes in, you become a sponge to. That's what you accept. That's what becomes your reality. This is why subconscious programming works. Subliminal messaging works. So because we subscribe to these programs and we can't consciously say, no, I don't accept it, they become a part of us and we start to believe them. And when the sickness happens in here, it eventually happens in your body too. This kind of reminds me of that time, or even of placebo, right? If you give someone placebo medication, more often than not, it works because the mind believes it's receiving a cure and the body as a result heals itself. So the body has immense power. It can heal itself or it can cause itself sickness. If you buy into this sickness programming, it's going to absolutely influence you. But even more than that, like why this is so powerful to understand, this concept of a pendulum is as follows. Well, first of all, let me explain to you what a pendulum is. It's a concept from a book called Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. And essentially what a pendulum is a collective energy structure that feeds off like-minded thinking. What I mean by that is if you have a religious group, if you have, an office or a company or a brand or a sports team, all of its adherents are part of this pendulum. They're building this collective energy by their own energies. They're combining their energies together into one pendulum and this becomes a living entity, okay? And it sort of sucks this energy out of people. Now, there are constructive pendulums and destructive pendulums. So constructive pendulums are the ones that actually help you get towards your goal and the life you want. Destructive pendulums are the ones that help, that move you away from the life that you actually want. The best thing to do is walk your own path. But even when you're walking your own path, there's a pendulum you subscribe to, right? So the walking your own path pendulum. So it's impossible to be completely free of pendulums and it's not necessary to do so. But it's just choosing which pendulums you do give your energy to. If I give my energy to, a business pendulum that's going to help my business get better, great, it's serving me and my goals, right? So it's not necessarily always a bad thing. So a pendulum is an energy structure. Feeds off collective thinking. Now, in the media, it's inducing this collective thinking of, oh no, coronavirus is everywhere and it's spreading, it's going out everywhere. People are subscribing to it. People are believing in it. Those who are already fearful will have more things to fear about, right? So we actually talked about how there is no such thing as stress or no events can stress you out, but rather if you are a stressed person within, if you're an angry person within, all of these events are just going to be triggers and gateways for these emotions to express themselves. Click up here to check that video out. But essentially, worrying will become a sickness within itself. The biggest sickness is worry and fear, right? That's some emotion that needs to be dealt with, but we don't do that. So we unconsciously subscribe to these programs as we grow up, and because we lack consciousness, no one really teaches us how to be conscious. To be conscious is to observe and to be the witness rather than the experiencer. When you become conscious and you become aware, now you have the choice whether or not to accept this. Okay? It's really like your beliefs. You can accept the belief that you're poor, or you can accept the belief that I'm just temporarily broke, but I'm going to be wealthy, right? So now you have the choice on which belief you subscribe to. But the collective consciousness of mankind is so low because of all these handicaps we receive, right? Society gives us this false sense of security that, oh, if you do a college education and then you do a full-time job, you know, that's going to help you be secure. But what's the opportunity cost of doing that? Giving up on your dreams and your own path, right? So what we have to lose is much bigger than what we have to gain. I mean, great, we're surviving, but we're not thriving. We're not doing what we truly want to do. So the biggest pendulum in society right now is societal conditioning. It tells you you must be a certain way, you must do this, you must do that. Right? Even having laws in place is a pendulum. Like, if you think about it, the solution to overcoming pendulums is just becoming conscious. Kind of like, why have a law in place when I can just be conscious? So to give you an example, why should someone tell me that it's illegal to kill my neighbor? I shouldn't want to kill my neighbor because I love my neighbor. I shouldn't want to rob the bank because, I mean, it's harming other people, right? So the solution to having laws and having rules in place is to just make mankind more conscious, more loving, and raise the vibration, if you will. So in a similar way, if you look at doctors, they come in with the mindset of healing their patients. That's the consciousness level. I'm here to heal. I'm here to help. This is why they don't get sick. Like, think about why doctors rarely ever get sick and why, like, other people, they're not even around sick people and they just manufacture illness after illness within themselves, right? So in the same way, you know, you can be around people who are of low consciousness, but if you worry that their consciousness will seep onto you, then it is. That's exactly what's going to happen. When you worry, worrying itself becomes a huge sickness. Okay? So now I want to share with you the 3 keys that's going to help you overcome succumbing to pendulums and have your own say and your own choice in what you choose to believe. So first of all, the first and foremost thing is to become conscious. And pendulums will hijack your consciousness when you fall unconscious. If you fall unconscious, pendulums are going to take your consciousness and they're going to guide you. Okay? Consciousness. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at one day, let's say you're running late and you've fallen unconscious, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a rush. And just that day, you know, your shoelaces just won't untie the way you want. And for some reason that day the bus had to come late. And then when you get off the bus, you know, you try to overtake a pedestrian in front of you. You step to the left, the pedestrian steps to the left. You step to the right, the pedestrian steps to the right. So now the pendulum is trying to anger you because it can feed off this emotion. It will do anything to feed off that emotion to become stronger and stronger. The solution in that case is to just become conscious. When you see that you're subscribing to the coronavirus pendulum, you just say to yourself, hold on, what's going on here? I'm actually giving into that programming. I mean, the best thing to do is just take the necessary precautions and be done with it. Like, okay, I'm washing my hands before I eat. And no, I'm eliminating contact with germ objects. But then when you try to like intercept every single thing and all you can do is think about it, when all you can do is keep focusing on it, then you've become unconscious. When you no longer have control over your thought process, then you've become unconscious. Then it's going to start haunting you. And really, sickness occurs in the mind. I haven't really been horribly sick within the past year or so, touch wood. I usually always make a video about not getting sick. I always say I'm not getting sick, and then afterwards I do get sick. So knock on wood. But the reason that is because, well, healthy diet, first of all, healthy sleep, but even more than that, not subscribing to that program of getting sick. There's people who during the depression were rich. Some people look at the depression happening and they're like, oh shit, now we're going to be poor. And then they become poor because they subscribe to that program. With consciousness, you have the power to refuse that and just say, no, that doesn't apply to me. Like, seriously. People are going to think you're fucking crazy. They're going to be like, what do you mean it doesn't apply to you? It's like happening everywhere. But if you say so, that's what's going to happen. If you become conscious about it, that's what's going to happen. Okay, but life is going to test you. It's going to show you these sicknesses everywhere. You just need to keep waking up and seeing that, oh, I'm subscribing to a pendulum. There are people who've gotten crazy rich during the depression. There are some people who look at the markets going down, they're like, wow, this is a great opportunity to actually get rich. There are other people who are like, oh shit, my whole life's done, and then they jump off buildings, right? So it's what you subscribe to. You have the tool of consciousness to make that choice of what you give your energy to, whether it be a constructive pendulum or a destructive one, right? Number 2, yep, that's it, refuse to accept. And the final thing is your conviction of reality. Now, this comes very, very important when, you start becoming fearful of being around negative people. Only when you fall unconscious, those negative people start to affect you. You can't be conscious 24/7. You can, but it's very, very difficult, right, at the current consciousness level. But if you think about it, Mother Teresa was around a lot of negative people. Didn't make her negative, but her conviction, her sense of reality was so strong, it started to leak out and influence other people. Right? Whoever's sense of reality is stronger, whoever's consciousness is stronger, it's going to bring other people up. That's what it is. Whoever's vibration is higher and their intensity of vibration is higher, aka their conviction in their sense of reality, it's going to affect other people. This is why some people become rock stars, because they believe so deep within themselves that, yeah, I am a rock star. If you look at people like Jeff Bezos, you read his autobiography, things would just go to shit, but he would just be calm and cold-blooded. It didn't affect him one bit. His sense of reality was so strong, his conviction was so strong, it started to affect other people around him, and they started to believe in him. People will only believe in you if you believe in yourself, right? So, with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Just to quickly recap this video, we talked about the coronavirus pendulum and really what even a pendulum is. And most of us, we subscribe unconsciously to all of these programming. We see the news, we watch other people talk, we listen to them, and then we start to really believe those things. And our mind starts to get programmed that way, and we start to look proof of that happening. Anything that happens that confirms what we've already heard and seen. If you want to learn more about that, click this video up here on how your subconscious mind gets programmed and how you can consciously overcome that programming. And number 2, we talked about a pendulum, which is an energetic structure that feeds off the energy of collective thinking. Sports teams, religious groups, offices, company cultures, whatever it may be. There are constructive pendulums, destructive ones. Constructive ones help you get to your goal. Destructive ones take you away from your goal. The biggest sickness is worrying. When your mind becomes sick, it starts to manufacture sickness in your body. Your body can become sick. You can catch the virus, but when you get sick, you'll see when people get sick, they just keep talking about the sickness and they keep affirming to themselves, oh, I'm so sick, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, what can you do? What are you able to do? Show yourself you're not sick. And that's how you quickly get over sickness. Because now you're not propagating the sickness programming more and more, but rather you're just letting it be. The body's just sick. The identification with the body and the mind becomes the biggest barrier to experiencing a blissful, joyful life. And finally, look at doctors who don't get sick. They come in with the mindset of a healer. People like Mother Teresa. Whoever's sense of reality is the strongest, the other person will fall into that frame. Finally, we talked about the 3 keys to overcoming this. First of all, becoming conscious is the single biggest thing you can do, because the pendulum will hijack you when you're unconscious. Example, you're rushing somewhere and you fall unconscious. You're like, you need this result. Whenever you need something, you become unconscious, because now you go into scarcity mode. Your consciousness level goes a little bit down. You need something from reality. Okay? Number 2, refuse to accept. When you become conscious, you can just refuse to accept this programming. Oh, depression happened, everyone's going to get rich. Somehow I'm going to... depression happened, somehow everyone's going to get poor. Somehow I'm going to get rich, right? Because you choose that belief. Number 3, having this conviction in your sense of reality. Only way you can do that is just by being conscious. Like, you can't really trick a conscious person. A conscious person will sense a scam from a mile away because they can see it. You know, mankind has control over the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom solely because of the tool of consciousness, the power of consciousness. You know, the conscious man can exert his rule over the unconscious man because he's conscious, right? So consciousness is the power that really helps you create your own life and not be subject to someone else's plans. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful. Please leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of this, if you like this, and if you want me to make more videos like this. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. Also, I'm super excited to announce that a couple of spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me to see if we would be a good fit to work together in the Reality Mastery Program. Please only sign up if you're serious about working together to see if we would actually be a good fit. Typically, we work with those who are professionals, looking to transition out, take their careers to the next level, people who have been stuck at a certain revenue level in their businesses, business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking to break that invisible ceiling. They've tried all the techniques, but they've seen that the external strategies haven't worked. So now it's time for an internal change. Okay? If that sounds like you, please click on the link in the description below to sign up. Hope I see you there. And also, you are free to take advantage of our free Facebook group. Link for that is also in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time. Peace.